strategist David Axelrod. He's at peace with what happened. It wasn't unexpected. He just wishes he had some time to deal with it in his own way, Axelrod says. But I'm finding this hard right now. The enormity of it all is almost overwhelming. I love him. He's my friend. This election is ridiculously long, and there are many stupid things about it, but you really have to earn the presidency. And he's been tested. You can't hide it or fake it. Yet the candidate has partly passed the test by hiding himself away. By the time he reaches the final campaign rally in Manassas, Virginia, he has regained full control. Close to the site of two Confederate victories in the Civil War, the nation's first major African-American nominee, a Democrat no less, speaks to some 100,000 people at Prince William Fairgrounds. As a community organizer 2 decades earlier, Obama often feared that no one would show up to his meetings. Now there are so many people, the traffic is snarled for hours and miles around. These crowds, he says, have enriched him, moved him, and lifted him up when he was down. Now he's so inspired he tells his signature story from Greenwood, South Carolina. The tale of a little woman who lifted his spirits on a dismal day early in the campaign with the simple chant, "Fired up, ready to go." It shows you what one voice can do, he concludes. One voice can change a room. And if a voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, it can change the world. Yet at the start of this historic election day, in the early hours of the morning, the candidate seems weighed down. Determined and spirited perhaps, but also crushed with exhaustion and emotion. The gray wisps on his head are now visible from a distance, like the lines scored close to his eyes and across his cheeks. He sounds fired up, but he looks ready to drop. It is 1 a.m. when he lands at Chicago's Midway Airport. The polls have already closed in the small New Hampshire town of Dixville Notch, which has not voted for a Democratic president since 1968, but favors Obama by 15 votes to 6. The candidate walks down the stairs from his plane and steps into his armored SUV to a flash of cameras. Behind him is a new addition to his motorcade, another SUV filled with a black-clad, heavily armed counter-assault team. Obama liked to describe his journey from freshman senator to presidential front-runner as an improbable one. It was also preposterous and quixotic, at least in the judgment of the greatest political minds in the nation's capital. In February 2007, as Obama was readying the formal launch of his campaign, President Bush cast his expert eye across the contenders who wanted to succeed him. Sitting in the yellow Oval Room of the White House on the second-floor residence of the Executive Mansion, the president conceded he had no idea who would win the GOP nomination, but he was clear about the other side. "I think Hillary Clinton will be the Democratic nominee," he said, with his feet propped on a glass coffee table. "I'll tell you why. I think she will because I think she has staying power, star power, and money power. She brings a big organization that is well-funded right off the bat. And one of the lessons I learned is you have to be able to play the long ball." As for Obama, who was on the verge of announcing his candidacy, Bush was deeply doubtful. "Certainly a phenom, and very attractive. The guy is very smart," he said, before realizing he sounded like Joe Biden, who had just stepped into the racial minefield for calling Obama articulate and bright and clean. Bush was so taken aback with the public criticism of Biden that he called in his African-American Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice. "I don't get it," he said. "Condi, what's going on?" Rice told him what everyone else had said, that white people don't call each other articulate. No matter. Only the tough and battle-scarred could survive, and Obama wasn't one of them. "This primary election process is rough," Bush said, popping an endless stream of peanuts into his mouth. "It's really tough, and rightly so."